Welcome everybody to our panel discussion or roundtable about fusion. So that's our topic today, fusion of technology. Industry and research in Switzerland are facing strong challenges and changes triggered by several factors, as for example, international conflicts of interest are increasing, particularly between the global north and south. Europe is undergoing a significant change due to war at the moment, environmental challenges and emerging economic crisis, which will also have an impact on large parts of our industry. And EU policy are being enforced more restrictively, as evidenced by the ongoing economic discourse between the EU and Switzerland. All of these topics, all of this has an impact on us and can only be addressed together, necessitating closer collaboration and focus on common strengths. Hence, the topic of fusion is fusion of technology to leverage synergies among the industries of medtech, microprocessing, and processes more efficient, and watchmaking, but also fusion in the realm of economy, research, and development within the context of innovation-driven economic policies to strengthen competitiveness. The question is how to succeed in making various manufacturing technologies and processes more efficient and better optimized, thereby generating competitive advantages. This includes not only the field of photonics, but also the combination with other manufacturing technologies. So, to discuss these topics, we have invited Christoph Rüttimann. He's CTO of Bystronic and member of the Innovation Council of InnoSwiss. Jean-Luc Bazin, he joins us online. He is at Swatch Group. Welcome, Jean-Luc. Then,
yes, do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Thank you very much.
Okay, just I'm not the chef of research technologique. I am chef of technology scouting, which is not the same. It would be too much to make the fusion of all the R&D competencies of the hundreds of colleagues I have in R&D.
Okay, then we have on our panel also Joelle Tossetti. She is from the Swiss Innovation Booster Microtechnology. Then Marco Sabato, SME supplier to the watch industry, tool making and precision parts. And also from an SME, Amadeus Reed from Synova, who is doing some laser water jet machines. And last but not least, a guest from Germany, Michael Schmidt, head of the Bavarian Laser Center and university professor at the University of Nuremberg. He has been involved in projects in the Swiss research landscape for a long time. So welcome to you, everybody. So, and now therefore, regarding the topic of research and innovation, my first question goes directly to Michael Schmidt. You have been familiar with the Swiss research landscape for many years. On the other hand, you are also extensively connected internationally in the field of research. Where do you see the biggest technology challenges for the future to stay at the forefront in the field of micromaterial processing? From your perspective, where should companies invest to be prepared for the future?
Beat, thank you very much for this question. And so if we're talking about technological challenges for production technology, I think we should be aware that production technology has to be seen in between the resources on the one side and on the customers on the other side. So I'm not talking about the customers a lot, but taking into account the resources, we have to think, of course, in Europe about the materials, about the parts. So where do we get the parts? And recent trends, as you already mentioned, like deglobalization, geopolitics, force us to think more about having as much of the production chain in country at least as possible. So we should take that into account looking into future. Also, the human resources are I think not negligible, because we have, you know, Generation Z, we have home office, we have to talk about people want to be accounted for what they do. And these are also challenges that we have to, or these are boundary conditions for the challenges that we should think about. Going now to micromaterials processing, I think all the three different fields of technology that you already mentioned have very much in common already, like you have to be very precise in geometry, surface quality, mechanical properties. The parts are not so cheap, so it's not the cheapest way of producing parts, and also the customers are willing to pay in medical, also I think a bit in watch industry, and so it's not a very high level mass production, so the lot size is high, but it's not, compared to other technologies, it's still, I would say, acceptable. And even focusing a bit narrow on the challenges, if you take the development of beam sources, because I'm coming from laser technology, as it was mentioned, so there's a lot of development going on, higher medium powers. Even the beam material interplay is still not completely understood. You know that because you're researching that. Some other things are just coming up on the horizon, like beam shaping, spatio-temporal beam shaping. I would say that 95% of what you can do with it, we don't know yet. So that will come up in the next years. Also on the sensing area, like using OCTs, hyperspectral temperature measurements, so process control, sensing devices are things that are important for future technology. And now coming to fusion, I would say one way of fusion is that we can see that the conventional technology that I just mentioned is going to be fused with digital technology, not only in imaging, but also in processing. And we also have another way of fusion. That means if we have digital, we need algorithms. That means we need fusion with AI, for example. And when I'm talking about AI, I don't mean like, I don't understand my process, so let's try AI. So, but educated, let's say, AI training. And I think in future, there's a lot to learn for us, and there's a lot of chances also for R&D and research. And so my answer, and of course this is a bit of my point of view, where companies should invest in future, is in these disciplines, so in still evolving technologies that at least promise us to have more stable process, cheaper processes which produce better parts in the future, I would say. This is not only driven by these technical advantages that I just mentioned, but also by the deglobalization trend I already mentioned before. So I think an even stronger connection between academia and industry is the way to go, at least in my opinion. Not forgetting the human resources, because also when we design new processes, we also have to think about what want the people to do in future, how do they see their own work, and maybe we can that even take into account in process development. So that was my statement on that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Maybe I can take the ball because you mentioned the AI and processes. And maybe that's not in the script now. I'm asking an SME like Zinnober, are you able to do with AI and process technology to combine this?
I think that's a good question. And what you mentioned as boundary condition, the human resource. And for me, it's really, really one of the key and the most complicated things today, get the correct human resource. So we have projects going on in the direction of AI, but how then to implement it in an actual product at the end of the project is something which for me is still unclear. We will get some results, but how to translate this into a product to sell, or that really brings advantage to the customer, it relies a lot on HR that we have or don't have in-house, and that's very critical.
Mm-hmm. And another typical SME is about, do you also deal with AI already?
En français, s'il vous plaît, désolé. En Französisch oder auf Deutsch?
Huh?
The question on French or on German, sorry.
Machine Learning. Ist das etwas, was ihr einsetzt? Machine Learning? Ja, Machine Learning, Artificial Intelligence.
Yeah, actually not yet, but because we are on prototyping and we don't.
Yeah. Okay. And the big company, Bystronic, maybe, yes. I mean, no, you are at the forefront of this.
So we are not an SME, we are rather a big company. And yes, actually we have launched last year our first AI-based laser machine. So it's a laser machine that helps the operator, so everybody, also a completely unskilled operator, to find the optimum cutting parameters within minutes. And this is really, of course, this enables our customers to you know, if they have difficulties to find skilled people, as you also said, and of course with that, this is a help that they also can employ less skilled people in the let's say to get the best possible cutting results. And as a next step, basically, we're currently working on a fully self-optimizing machine based on artificial intelligence, and we have already the first prototypes now ready. So it's really a cool and interesting field with a high potential in the future for our industry.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Now, let's return to our script. Mr. Bazin, you represent one of the most significant companies in the watch industry, which has grown out of a strong economic crisis in the Swiss watch industry, if I'm right, in the 80s. Due to your experience, you surely have a deep insight into the current technological challenges and developments. How do you see the situation, and what would you, from the perspective of a large company in the industry, wish for in terms of politics, economic promotion to support the industry?
Thank you, Beat, but for the large question, I will maybe start with the fusion or the links, the close links between the watchmaking, the photonics, and new space. It is clear that the first laser, the ultra short pulse laser, have been made due to they are benefiting from the high precision timing that was coming from Switzerland, to have the ability to produce nanosecond and picosecond lasers. And ETH Zurich played a very, very crucial role in developing this ultra short pulse laser that spread all over the world. And due to the high accuracy timekeeping, the laser source have been able to be produced at the nano and picosecond lasers, and back thanks, these nano picosecond lasers have enabled to increase the accuracy of quartz, electronic and mechanical watches, because we are using more and more laser to make the fine-tuning of course, the quartz diapason, as well as the mechanical oscillator, which is which can be very, very fine-tuned in terms of inertial energy by either removing some nanograms of materials from the wheel, or adding some nanogram materials to have perfect inertial moment. And on this side, I think due to the high quality of this laser, enabling to have a very, very time accuracy, we will as well use the laser to make a new disruptive gap in the timing, in making synchronization clocks due to quantum photonics. You use a laser, nanosecond infrared laser, blue laser to beat non-linear material such as diamond, and to produce two entangled photons. These two entangled photons can travel 1,000 kilometers, and they will keep the same properties. When you change one, the B will be changed instantaneously. It will enable to have a time synchronized at the picosecond accuracy, while today the best atomic clock are ranging in the nanosecond nanoseconds range. And I think there is a huge potential to get access to the best accurate time, because time is positioning, and all GPS will be fully overtaken by this new picoseconds synchronized time, and you will have the ability to have about 10-15 centimeters accuracy on Earth, and you will be as well able to have better accuracy in the new space discovery. There is a link in the micro, nano, pico units mastering, which is one of the DNA of Switzerland, and the new space discovery, because you need to have as quick as possible time communication. I'm not speaking about information communication, but only time synchronization through thousands and hundreds and thousands and millions of kilometers. And it is an area where Switzerland is really, maybe must increase the fusion between this high time accuracy, photonics, quantum, and new space. There is a huge potential, and the world's largest players are coming in Switzerland to make their pickup markets, but the value added, the added value is mainly made outside. And it is something that, together with InnoSwiss, because I am colleague from Christophe, as well member of the Innovation Council at InnoSwiss, we must be stronger on the fusioning this new coming technology, quantum, time, photonics, and new space. That's my word. By the way, I will leave maybe a quarter to two, because I have to attend the assembly here. Voilà.
Okay, thank you very much. This gives a good opportunity to pass over to Christoph Rüttimann. You are not only member of the Innovation Council of InnoSwiss, but also work in a technical capacity in a Swiss traditional company in the field of laser machine engineering. How do you assess the situation? What is already being done today to promote the innovative power of Swiss companies? And what, in your opinion, needs to be done to better meet the current challenges?
Yeah, thank you very much, Beat, for the question. You know, complex times require innovation, and not only product innovation, but also process innovation or business model innovation. And Switzerland, and particularly most of the Swiss companies, are too small to cook their own soup, if you wish. So there must be strong partnerships and co-creation between companies and industries, especially when we talk about cross-functional topics like digitalization, artificial intelligence, or also sustainability. I believe that partnership and the transdisciplinary approach is of greatest importance to basically tackle these future challenges. I believe in Switzerland we have a very good education system, you know, with the dual approach, with having a professional apprenticeship and the academia on the other side. As this really creates a very strong bottom-up and practice-oriented innovation. And on the other hand side, we have very powerful funding instruments like the Swiss National Funds or InnoSwiss that really cover a broad range ranging from, let's say, startup coaching, going to support of technology pre-studies, or leading to classical innovation projects between academia and companies. And furthermore, we also have these national thematic networks. I think we will hear more from Ms. Tosetti about that, where companies are really invited to interact with academia and create new ideas for new projects. And there is even a measure to compensate, you know, since Switzerland has no how do you say, frame agreement now with the EU, cannot participate to the Horizon 2020 projects, or even there, this is compensated partially by the government, so that Swiss companies and university can still participate to these programs and get paid. Now, these are the good things. what can be improved? This was also your questions, and I believe the matchmaking between companies and academia should be better. I'm oftentimes approached by small SMEs asking me which I would like to have an innovation project, but to whom should I partner? How can I know which university, which institute provides which service? And I think there we still have a gap. This is one thing, and the other thing is we have to promote our funding instruments even more than we have in the past to have a bigger reach.
Thank you. Maybe also the view from SME to this topic, Amédée?
Yes, I think what Christoph said is absolutely right. We have good education. We have a good Förderungsmittel. I don't know the name in English, sorry for that. But yes, absolutely right. Now, if I think about our own situation at Sinova, we have an actual research group, 5 persons, 6 soon, which is probably not the case for all the companies. So how to, again, coming back to the HR issue, how to, in companies, really follow up Swiss projects, that's maybe one of the difficulty today. And if I take now my hat of Swiss expert, I get the feeling that there is at some point also some energy loss in the projects. What I mean by that is I see a lot of different projects from companies acting in the same field or competitor, but not exactly competitor, going in the same direction, more or less to the same academic persons. And I would like to tell these companies, please go together, come together, make larger projects, make so that we have a critical mass in this specific topic. And actually, I think this is maybe missing. Partially, it's answered by the NTN, but I think it's not enough.
Yeah. As I heard also from Christoph, collaboration among the companies could also be strengthened in future.
Absolutely. I think we are more and more confronted with transdisciplinary challenges, which are not just limited to one industry, and therefore companies and cross industry have to work together, to address and learn from the best worlds and combine them to have really a strong resilience against the future challenges.
Yeah. How is the situation in Germany?
Well, I would say that the working together, so between universities and industry, works already quite well. I'm not sure if we have like a catalog of who's doing what in research yet, because I think this was what came up, and I think this is a quite good idea. But then you would maybe also need a ranking, and with whom do I want to work together? So this, but I think we should further look in that. But I think Switzerland and Germany, so some of our strong points is really the already very well existing collaboration between academia and industry, whereas in other countries worldwide this doesn't look so well. So I think it's fine. As somebody coming from university, I say, okay, this always has to be improved. So this is, of course, my statement. But I think it's working quite okay, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Sabato, as a representative of a typical Swiss SME company in the second generation, I learned already yesterday. How do you assess the situation? Is enough being done by politics and economic promotion to make the backbone of the industry, the SME companies, crisis resistant? And how do you realize innovations yourself and strengthen your market position?
Donc je vais y répondre en français. Nous avons fait l'expérience dans l'année 2019 avec la promotion économique. C'est la première fois dans laquelle nous avons eu besoin de soutien. Et c'était avec la société Sabato Microtech. Et c'est vraiment, je peux vraiment parler positif. Nous avons voulu développer notre entreprise. Nous avons voulu agrandir notre entreprise et faire des investissements dans des machines supplémentaires. Et oui, je peux vraiment répondre positif. Ils nous ont bien soutenus dans cette année. Et ça nous a aidés, comme quoi on a pu créer des nouvelles places de travail. On a pu continuer à nous développer. C'était vraiment super. Maintenant, pour donner réponse à les innovations, qu'est-ce que nous, comme PME, on fait pour nous évoluer? Ben, dans l'année 2022, nous avons créé la Sabato LaserTech. Et c'est pour pouvoir combiner la mécanique que nous avons eue en place jusqu'à maintenant avec la technologie laser. D'après ce que je sais, je ne connais pas forcément des entreprises qui mixent ces deux ensembles. Et c'est vraiment pour pouvoir proposer au client final la production de A à Z, de pouvoir combiner la technologie laser et la technologie mécanique pour vraiment y répondre à toutes les questions possibles. Et pour donner suite à la promotion économique, nous avons déposé dernièrement une demande pour Sabato LaserTech qui a été créé dans l'année 2022, qui est en suspens en ce moment, donc qui est en cours en ce moment. Et nous sommes persuadés que aussi là, on va recevoir un soutien. Mais bien sûr, nous sommes aussi ouverts à d'autres programmes. Mais ce qu'il faut quand même dire, malgré les meilleures subventions et les meilleures machines, je pense à ce moment, ça n'aide pas beaucoup s'il n'y a pas du top personnel. Et c'est vrai que c'est un thème qui occupe beaucoup en ce moment. Puis je pense que là, il faudrait peut-être aussi faire un autre pas, de rendre nos métiers plus attractifs.
Yeah. So you are already at the forefront of fusion of technology, but education is still a problem. Huh?
Yes. Oui.
Yeah. Yeah.
Non, c'est vraiment un grand souci. Je pense le souci principal de tous les marchés actuellement. Il y a un énorme manque de personnel. On fait vraiment beaucoup. Et je peux vraiment dire aujourd'hui, de notre côté, oui, on a un super team. Et je dis toujours, tu peux avoir la meilleure machine sur le marché, tu peux avoir les meilleures technologies, mais si tu n'as pas le meilleur type derrière la machine, qu'est-ce que ça te sert? Donc aujourd'hui, on peut vraiment être fiers qu'on a un super team, on a grandi sain. Donc pour dire, aujourd'hui, nous sommes 36 collaborateurs, on a commencé à 3 avec mon père et mon frère. Et oui, c'était pas toujours facile au début, mais on a clairement mis la philosophie de la précision, de la qualité et l'esthétique. Pendant beaucoup d'années, on a souvent entendu les Sabato, vous faites de la surqualité. Aujourd'hui, je suis content que tout le monde a remarqué, non, c'était la bonne direction parce qu'aujourd'hui, tout le monde cherche cette haute qualité et surtout le all in-house. Et aujourd'hui, je peux dire, oui, le travail ne nous manque pas, par contre, le personnel. On pourrait toujours en avoir plus.
I think this is the same at every place, also at the universities. Huh? So, Mrs. Sossetti, you have now heard this all. Huh? You are active in the NTN Innovation Booster Microtechnology. So, what would you recommend to the industry representatives, or how do you support them in the problems they have? Huh? And would your program be suitable for the 2 companies, or the 3 or 4? And if so, why?
So I think that Sinova, I don't need to convince them because they are very active on our booster. And that's really great to see that some companies still have a strong R&D team and focus also on the future.
And if I may say, it's a great instrument, really.
Thank you. And so there are 18 different boosters running in parallel on different topics, and I'm in charge of the microtech one. And what we try to do is really to help companies to co-create together around innovative topics. And so for that, we have built an ideation platform on which companies can bring ideas or problems on which they would like to work on. And then we try to build teams around those ideas or problems. And thanks to Innosuisse, we financed the 6 months feasibility studies with 20,000 Swiss francs for each feasibility study. So it's a great instrument to try to build different synergies than usual, because we have sometimes companies which don't know each others who join the same team, and yes, sometimes they are not in the same field, And it's very interesting to see that they can have common problematics and they can work together on those topics, and each company can bring a different point of view, and when they co-create together, for sure they can go further.
Yeah. So you really also try to link companies together,
Yes,
huh?
on a national scale.
Yeah. And I'm sure you would like to have a little bit more money from InnoSwiss. What do you think about NTNs from as an innovation member of the Innovation Council?
Yeah, you know, I think NTNs is now the second wave of that program that has been launched, and it's really a good thing. You know, we see a lot of projects that are created from these NTNs. You know, from the exchange of the companies with the academia. That are really very ideas are created, and with this with the NTNs we also give now the possibility a certain amount of money to the NTN, so they can freely allocate this money within the NTN to create some kind of pre-studies, and out of that possibly create InnoSwiss projects. And I have to say the resonance is quite good. We see a lot of projects emerging from these NTNs. And I hope this will continue. I think it's a powerful instrument to especially for SMEs and the academia, to bring them together.
Yeah, thank you. So let's go back to our guest from Germany, Mr. Schmidt. How realistic do you consider the utilization of synergies in research between the fields of medical technology, watch industry, and micromaterial processing? Do you know examples of this? I'm not only referring to manufacturing processes themselves, but also to fundamental technological developments that could bring economic advantages to Swiss companies.
Yes, thank you very much for this also extensive question. I think let's start with the synergies. I think it's quite obvious if you look at the desired product properties, that if you look into medical, into watchmaking industry, micro-manufacturing, that if you deduct it from the properties that you want to manufacture, it's clear that the technologies that you would use for it are at least neighboring, if not the same even. So this is one thing. There might be differences coming from the market where you deliver to. Like if you have medical, for example, and you want to deliver to United States, so you have the FDA and you have to go through certain processes so that you can deliver your product. But anyway, that's maybe a good thing, because one company might be able to learn from the other, or let's say if you make a fusion between the markets. So I don't mean that the medical people then should sell watches, but what I mean is that you can adapt from the medical people maybe some of the quality controls of FDA, so you can learn from each side, also from the market side, as the technology, as we just said, is roughly the same. You asked me for examples, so this is either I give you a long list or a short list. So there is examples, for example, from my own world. You know, I'm coming from Erlangen. There's maybe a big health company there. And so we do micro machining for them for certain let's say products they sell, but the same process we apply also for watch industry. So it's already there. So that it's so technology wise we have merged as we use the same machine, and the same is like another example, like treating glass welding. It's things that you might need in watch industry or use in watch industry, but also if you think about pharmaceuticals, so there's also a strong overlap. And we had this before, so I think as the technologies are the same, it absolutely makes sense at least to have cooperations between companies that deliver with roughly the same technologies in different markets. Or maybe it's even better that we heard from integrating the technology like mechanical plus laser. If you have one company that delivers in different markets. So we had examples there before in the market, big companies that deliver to automotive, but at the same time to packaging industry. And of course they had the same technologies. They delivered in the two markets. And that makes the company more stable, and it facilitates a lot the knowledge exchange, and it boosts the development in the company. So this is why I think also this type of fusion might make sense. And the last part of your question, so the most interesting developments, well, groundbreaking, this is hard to say, but I already mentioned things like beam shaping. I think this will, as soon as we have understood what we can do with it, that will give another boost to laser processing, and not only in welding, but maybe also in additive and structuring a lot.
I fully agree. Fully agree. Now, this spread in market, maybe medical, watch, and micromechanical. How do you, as an SME, deal with this, Amédée?
I think for us, where I see synergy between the fields, first of all, it's kind of the same requirements. I mean, it's high precision, it's high quality, high surface quality, and this is and also in terms, as you said, in terms of norms, and this is the same field from my point of view somehow. Now, where I see also synergy is in the emergence of new material, composite material that enter the watch world, where from our perspective as machine maker and with a fusion of two technologies like water and laser, we have really a role to play, and it's for me one of the nicest trends that we have today. This new material coming in both worlds, in fact.
Yeah. New materials. Let's go to the end here. Regarding your Innovation Boost program, can you give examples to the audience how you could support SMEs exactly with this fusion of technologies, material, laser, microprocessing, or also AI and so on? How do you do that?
Yes, so all different kind of subjects or thematic can be brought on the platform. And so you were also part of one project, and so if we try really to help the companies to find the right partner, to find maybe someone different than they are used to, and so when you were part of the team, you brought your own experience. And you helped the two companies that were in the team to improve the speed of laser engraving, if I remember well.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago or something like that. Yeah, I remember well.
Yes. Yeah. And we also had another project where Sinova was in regarding the energy, machine energy consumption. And here the companies were able to take direct measures on their machines, and at the end, I know that most of the companies in the team were able to diminish, to low down the energy consumption directly. Yeah. So they could really make direct progresses, and I don't know, with the compressed air consumption, for example, with the heating of the machine, the length of the heating of the machine, they could really measure a very precise time of heating of the machine and reduce that. And that was really very concrete measures on which they could directly work on and improve that.
Yeah. And you, Mr. Sabato, what do you think of this initiative or of this program? I think you know it, I'm sure. Huh? Can you, as an SME, directly take benefit of this, or would you prefer different kind of programs?
Moi, je suis très ouvert à des programmes différents, ça c'est sûr. Donc, je trouvais très intéressant ce que vous avez dit avant avec ces fonds que vous faites pour qu'il y ait plusieurs sociétés qui peuvent se mettre dedans pour trouver ensemble des solutions. C'est un thème que dans l'horlogerie, c'était toujours un petit peu difficile de donner le savoir-faire en dehors. J'ai remarqué qu'avec le temps, de plus en plus d'entreprises sont ouvertes pour découvrir le savoir-faire d'autres et peut-être aussi montrer un petit peu plus de leur savoir-faire. pour avoir à la fin une solution, mais ça reste quand même un thème critique. Et, ça reste quand même un thème critique parce que à la fin, il y a quand même tout le monde qui a encore son know-how à l'interne. Puis il faut toujours savoir jusqu'à où on veut aller pour que ça nous avance, pour qu'on puisse avancer ensemble sans qu'il y ait d'impact derrière.
Si,
Oui.
si je peux répondre à ça, du coup, je réponds en français. Alors, c'est vrai que la question de la propriété intellectuelle est toujours la première question qu'on nous pose, forcément. Mais on voit de plus en plus que les entreprises sont plus intéressées à innover et elles voient que le fait de collaborer avec les autres leur permet d'accéder à de nouvelles technologies, de nouvelles idées. Quand on met ensemble des entreprises du medtech avec des entreprises de l'horlogerie, avec des entreprises dans l'usinage ou comme ça, ben, il y a forcément de nouvelles idées qui peuvent émerger, beaucoup plus que si tout reste, si on fait tout le R&D en interne. Et puis, à la suite de ça, il y a aussi le speed to market qui entre en ligne de compte. Les entreprises sont aussi intéressées par ces projets collaboratifs, aussi des fois pour essayer d'aller plus vite, ensemble, partager les ressources. Vous avez aussi beaucoup parlé de ressources avant. C'est aussi une force des projets collaboratifs, de pouvoir conduire un projet avec ressources partagées, minimiser les ressources à investir dans le projet, mais pouvoir quand même bénéficier des recherches et des échanges avec les autres.
Absolument. Donc, aussi nous, comme PME, on a remarqué que vu que nous, on est dans l'horlogerie, la précision, c'était toujours le plus important. Dans le prototypage, c'est pas forcément la vitesse, mais c'est la précision et la qualité, bien sûr. Et maintenant, de plus en plus, viennent aussi de l'automobile, comme vous avez dit, des autres branches, puis ils viennent dans l'horlogerie parce que, bien sûr, aussi, de tous les autres secteurs, ça commence à venir plus précis, ça commence à venir plus exigeant, ça commence à venir... Et ils sont prêts que le travail il va un petit peu plus long, bien les processus vont plus longs pour obtenir des meilleurs résultats. Puis c'est vrai que c'est une synergie qui aide quand tout le monde tire dans le même sens. Mais je pense que ce n'est pas actuellement encore le cas que tout le monde le fait. Puis je suis sûr que si plus d'entreprises le feraient, il y aurait des meilleures solutions et ben, ça aiderait. Moi, je suis tout à fait pour.
Oui,
Yeah, I just wanted to do it in English or in French, I don't know. Just wanted to add one more example of an interesting NTN. I mean, diamond cutting is for Sinova our bread and butter, but mainly in the jewelry fields. But we were convinced that diamond cutting and turning, because we can also do turning, there might be interest outside the jewelry world. And thanks to the NTN, one NTN which is now starting, we really could find out partners that are interested to investigate with us, in fact, what's interesting in these fields. And that's really a very, very helpful tool for that.
Yeah, thank you. No, let me go back to Mr. Rüttimann. What is your view? What should be done by politics to support the Swiss industry even better through complementary measures outside the financial support in research and development?
Yeah, you know, so first of all, I think we should not wait for politics. We should act, and we as an industry, we have basically the responsibility to act and to take responsibility, is what I want to say. Or in other words, impact over compliance. You know, politics are providing compliance, but that's not enough. We as industry, we need to create impact. And one example is all the projects that have to deal with sustainability, climate change, and so on. And I think if industry is waiting for politics to set the proper guidelines, it's too late. So that's why I think as an industry, there we really have a responsibility and have to act. And then the question: what should be made besides R&D funding? You know, I believe we have the best engineers in Switzerland. We have the best universities in Switzerland. We have the most innovative companies. We have, let's say, the most patents filed every year per person and so on. But I think where we are really weak is marketing. And I think if there would be kind of a help or an instrument that helps to promote the Swiss technology really on a global scale, I think that would help a lot of Swiss SMEs really to take the next steps, you know. And I think if we would be able to combine our engineering skills and the US marketing skills, I think then we would be unbeatable.
So you mean something like Swiss Tourismus we should have for industry?
No, you know, I think unfortunately we don't have Jean-Luc Bazin anymore, but I think his company is probably an exception. They are doing it very well, the marketing part, but that's I would say that's really the exception. That's not the standard case for, let's say, for a Swiss SME or for a Swiss company. And therefore, I really believe that would be beneficial if we would have kind of a boost to help Swiss companies to do proper marketing.
Yeah. Jean-Luc, you were addressed.
Yes. I am still there for 5 minutes. Yes, I agree. I totally agree, because Switzerland is mainly bottom-up driven R&D innovation, and when we compare Switzerland with, let's say, Sweden or Israel, these countries are as well similar in the ranking of the most innovative countries, but they are a higher level of top-down incentives and those of top-down politics, and it helps a lot to make a better recognition of the positioning of this country, of the marketing of this country as a high technological level country. In the opposite, Switzerland, every big players, US or even Chinese, are coming in Switzerland and picking up their interesting nano or pico brick of technology and building them together to bring innovation and produce unicorns. And that is, I fully agree with my colleague Christophe from industry that Switzerland is missing such kinds of ability to marketing and to generate unicorns. We have all the fertilizer to do it, but we miss some good tutorials, or I don't know why, to have the ability to produce more unicorns. Israel, which is a comparable country in terms of size and inhabitants and GNP, is producing much more unicorns than Switzerland. And it's questioning, because the value has to be kept in Switzerland to finance all the ongoing R&D challenges with net zero, resilience in getting access to the critical materials, energy, and for me, quantum space and new space are great challenge where Europe, together with the benefit of Switzerland, must take a strong position. We see that the investment of China in quantum technology, it might be quantum sensors, quantum computing, quantum clocks, is huge. $15 billion last year, while Europe is still split, with Germany, UK, and France investing a couple of billion. But it is a new challenge, the quantum area. It will be a huge gap. Disruptive innovation will be brought through this new technology. Zurich is the right place on the engineering side, of course, optic side, but there is an increasing risk that the foreign companies are picking up the technologies and making the best from them. This is my last words. I have to leave, apologize, but it has been a pleasure, and I wish you a good last 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much for participating.
Thank you, Beat.
And thank you, Jean-Luc.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
So, concerning the marketing, maybe from your side as SME, How do you do marketing worldwide?
Not enough, not well enough clearly, and actually what we have local entities in the major markets which do their own marketing. We do our own marketing from Switzerland, but very clearly that's a hot topic. And what we should now do, and I think what we will do in the future, is really identify and focus the niche markets where we are good at. I mentioned diamond cutting before, but that's just an example, and that's where we should focus in the near future. But it's a big challenge. Using also more and more, channels like LinkedIn, these kind of things. Does it bring something or not? It's hard to say. I've no clue, to be honest. I believe yes. How much? What's the return on investment? No idea.
Yeah. So Jean-Luc's example with quantum technology, Christophe, brings me back to you. He told that China is investing 50 billions, if I heard right, to this technology. What can we expect from InnoSwiss in the future to promote technological innovations more comprehensively? And would direct pre-competitive funding for particularly innovative ideas be meaningful in your opinion?
Yeah, I think Jean-Luc gave a good keyword. That is, how could we create unicorns? And so the question: do we need unicorns? Question mark. Or is Swiss industry anyway a bit different? But I still believe we should play on different fields, and InnoSwiss does. And there's also a funding instrument that is called flagships, which is basically a top-down funding instruments where we really would like to foster this transdisciplinary approach with projects, cross-disciplinary projects that last over several years, which have several millions up to maybe 8-9 million of funding budget. So I think from that perspective, there are things are going on. Then, unfortunately, as SMEs, they do not get, or companies in general, they do not get direct money from InnoSwiss. And I think this is really a holy cow that the Swiss Parliament is not willing to slaughter in the near or also in the midterm future. But what we have now created is a so-called startup innovation project. So this is it's another, let's say, pot of funding, and this is also in the range of 1 to, let's say, 3-4 millions, where startups get direct money from InnoSwiss, and this is for particular projects. For particular high potential, highly innovative projects, where basically companies and this is dedicated to startups are getting money. But that is, let's say, the first time that companies or startups are getting these kind of pre-competitive money, if you wish, and we will see where this leads us to. But anyway, I think despite the fact that SMEs do not get direct payments, I believe this is not only a disadvantage, it's also an advantage, because if you would pay directly to companies, you need to have assessments and due diligence tests and so on. It's really complicated, and then would make the process very slow. Whereas the InnoSwiss projects, one big advantage is the speed. So basically, when you submit a proposal, 6 weeks later you get a decision whether you can start or not. And I think this is like light years faster than EU projects or whatever these kind of things, where at the end companies get money. So that would be my take on this. I think we have the right instruments, but we have to make them more known, and so that really everybody can participate.
Thank you. This brings me back to you, Michael. Based on your experience, where do you see the most important differences as well as advantages and disadvantages in the comparison between Switzerland and Germany? And how do you see the situation in Asia and the US? Are we still technologically competitive? And what are these countries doing to strengthen their economy?
Yeah, if you allow me, Beat, I would answer in a reverse order. So I'm involved a bit in Asia and in the United States and Canada. So I think one of the very good points in Asia is the education and the, let's say, the drive of the young people to be educated, and this is true for if you go to South Korea or China or Japan. So of course this also has to do with the society a bit. They also have a very good long-term planning and thinking, as you know. So depends on which country you go, but also you go for Japan. Look where if you go to Japanese car manufacturers, there are manufacturers that offer every type of drivetrain you would like to at the moment. So battery-driven, fuel cell-driven, or conventional. So that's not the case with the German ones. Also, for many years it was said, yeah, technology from China, it's like second-level technology or so. I think this is changing. So especially also, so of course then it's getting also more expensive, but you can get also very, very good technology from there. Maybe not yet completely competitive, but I think that's coming. And also something I realized that also what I didn't see before, that also Japan is going around the world and Japanese companies are buying. So we have examples that the small startups like in the United States, some of you might know Taglens. So they were bought from Mitutoyo, yeah, or also Hitachi bought in Germany a small laser manufacturer. So they also have a really strategic thinking and doing. So is there a drawback? Maybe yes, or a chance for us. I think the connection between academia and industry is not as good as in Europe, especially not as good as in Switzerland or also Germany. So that means having a high-speed innovation, I think could keep us being the pacemaker in technology. Now coming to the US, this is, well, you could assess this for an hour or more. So of course they have their own problems. They have, of course, the excellent world-leading universities, but also MIT is not best in every topic they have. That's clear. What I think there is they are very strong in doing. So if they found we have to do this, then they do it. Let me give you one example. So this maybe you know the 1-1-1 strategy on hydrogen, because they realized maybe battery driving in such a big country is not the coolest thing. So they go for hydrogen, and now they push that in 1 decade they will be world leaders, and so there's enough money, and then they start doing it. And I think this is something we have to carefully look at. I think they have a better communication between academia and industry, but still most of the things are going on via head transfer. So people are bought, and then companies have the knowledge. And then going to Switzerland and Germany, so especially in microtechnology, I see still these countries, especially Switzerland, yeah, has pacemaker but also bit Germany maybe in new high precision technologies. Our strong point is we have a really good connection. We discussed this, you discussed this already, between academia and industry. So the knowledge transfer can be quite quick and quite direct, I think. We have to take care of our resources, so meaning the material and the people. Then we have like regulations. This is maybe more present for me being in Germany than for you being in Switzerland. I experienced the last 10, 15 years a huge increase in regulations. So what I have to respect, either being a CEO of a company or in university, this regulation, that regulation, I need hardly to find time to do my job. So meaning inventing things or so. I think this is something we really have to carefully look at, like how would you say this, debureaucratization or so. And so measures, what can we do? I think it's clear. And you discussed this also, even closer connect the companies and the innovation centers, so the innovation universities, develop in-country processes or process change, looking at the resources. And I think the strong point for Swiss, because this was also part of your question, against Germany, I mentioned that is bureaucracy. At least what I realize, Maybe because it's a smaller country, I think here everything goes more direct, and you have more freedom in several decisions, like what was also mentioned, how to make a contract, who's going to have the IP if you do something between university and company. For us, this is very strict regulations, and sometimes it takes a year or longer until there's a decision on that. So I think that, yeah, that's my assessment on where we are.
OK, thank you. So maintenant, je sais quelque chose d'inhabituel pour moi, hein, je parle français. Revenons à nos participants à la table ronde. Supposons que vous avez une voix en rapport avec notre sujet d'aujourd'hui. Que souhaiteriez-vous? Amélie?
You repeat the question in English?
If you would have one wish for free
Yes.
about the topic today, what would you wish?
If I had one wish, it's really, and we talked about politics before, it's really that our politics understand that education is key of the whole system. Education and education at all levels. That's all.
Mr. Zavato?
Oui, c'est un thème vraiment complexe aussi, ce que vous avez parlé avec les éducations. C'est vrai qu'on peut vraiment pas comparer, surtout qu'il y a cette génération Z qui est en train d'arriver. Et je pense que nous, les entrepreneurs, on doit penser différemment. Malheureusement, on a été éduqués différemment. En Asie, je ne pense pas que quelqu'un, après son apprentissage, il va demander à travailler à 60% directement parce qu'il veut encore un petit peu de liberté. En Suisse, c'est de plus en plus le cas. Donc, chez nous, c'est toujours hors remarque. Il y a des gens qui viennent après l'apprentissage pour pouvoir travailler 80, 60, 40%, parce qu'ils veulent la liberté, parce que ça, c'est devenu plus important. Et non seulement ça, aussi, ils veulent être appréciés, beaucoup plus appréciés. Et ça, c'est beaucoup plus important pour la Suisse. Et c'est vrai que je pense que c'est une question d'éducation, comme monsieur a dit, parce que finalement, oui, on veut aller en devant. Et ce qui me fait peur aussi un petit peu, oui, dans les temps avant, c'était, oui, les Chinois, là, il faut de la mauvaise qualité et tout. Nous, on est la Suisse. Mais je pense que c'est aussi une chose qu'il faut faire très attention parce qu'ils sont en train de nous rattraper. Si on dort, si on continue de dormir, désolé de le dire comme ça, un jour, ça va arriver, puis ça va faire mal. Parce que moi, je dis toujours, il faut aller en devant, il faut essayer de tout donner. J'ai aussi plusieurs personnes qui viennent se présenter chez nous parce qu'ils ont plein d'idées, ils sont super intelligents, ils veulent aller en devant. Puis, dans plusieurs sociétés, c'est toujours, oui, c'est la super solution, bravo, mais il ne se passe rien. Parce que jusqu'à temps, ça a marché, ça a fonctionné. Mais moi, je dis toujours, il faut vraiment aller en devant. Et qu'est-ce que je souhaite, pour revenir sur votre question, pardon, c'est une question difficile, que nous prenons peut-être aussi un petit peu exemple à l'étranger et que nous arrêtons de penser que à la liberté.
Merci.
Too many times I receive the answer when I try to find partners for some ideas or problems that are brought on the platform. I receive the answer that people don't have time to innovate, time to participate in that kind of project, and that they are focused on production. So what I would wish is that they could take, and they want to take more time to innovate and to co-create with the others.
Thank you. Michele, your wish?
Well, I had a bit of time to think about this, so my wish is people, because people includes education, mindset, and mindset has to do with the society and what the society is doing, and people are our resource in Europe. So that's my wish.
Thank you. And last but not least, Christoph.
Yeah, I think most has been said, but I think if Switzerland wants to stay really at the forefront of innovation of technology and to challenge, as you said, for instance, innovation from China, which is rapidly improving, and I think this only works if we co-create and work together. So I really wish from industries that they do cross-industry collaboration, co-creation to face the challenges. That would be really be my greatest wish.
Thank you. I think this is a good final word for our panel discussion. I would like to thank all our guests in the round, all our participants. It was very nice. It was even more than an hour, which was over in 5 minutes. So, and I wish everybody here a good weekend. Swissphotonics wish you all a successful part of the fair and a good trip back home. And we hope to see you at EPHJ 2024 next year. Thank you very much.